it going, everyone? It's Gavin from Balls to You, and today's topic is all about bedding. If you followed my journey over the years, you guys know I have tried a number of beddings: Lignocell, coconut bedding, unprinted paper, cypress bedding, and we're going to get into my evolution of where I am today. Back in the day, Ralph Davis was I was inspired by Ralph Davis. Ralph Davis was one of the few, if not the biggest breeder at the time that I reached out to, and he reached back out to me. And to this day, we have still stayed in contact. We spoke only earlier this year. Ralph was always a massive advocate of unprinted paper, so unprinted newspaper sort of thing. So I use the stuff that you find at the takeaway restaurants, like the fish and chip shop, you know, the fish and chip shop paper, if you like, unprinted, very, hygienic paper. And I was using that for years and years and years, and it worked very, very well. The only issue I had was smell, and obviously absorbing, you know, the water and the urates and the wee from the snakes, and the smell was obviously evident. So then I went on and tried Lignocell. Now, Lignocell looked very nice, very pretty. However, the mess that it made was crazy. And if you had your snakes in a bedroom and you got carpet down, it was a nightmare to hoover up. The other problem I had with Lignocell was, with Lignocell came free mites. Now, I'm not saying that is in all Lignocell, but I did get mites from Lignocell. Now, that could have been where I got it from. I'm not going to get into that, but that really put me off, along with the mess. Okay, it being all on the floors. And those who have got Lignocell, let's just be real for 1 minute. It's a pain. Okay, let's just talk facts. It's a pain. So I quickly got off Lignocell, mainly due to the mites. It really put me off. And then I tried a bedding called Tropi Chip. Now, Tropi Chip was the first bedding in the UK that was predominantly made of coconut bedding. You know, it worked, it was okay, and then it became real inconsistent. I started to get bricks of coconut bedding which was full of dirt, and I mean soil, not the chip that I wanted to use. It was the dirt, if that makes sense. So, or the core, the coconut core. So it was really inconsistent, and it was just, yeah, it wasn't the best. Then spoke to Ozzy, and Ozzy was using cypress mulch. So of course, did some search, found some cypress mulch that we were able to get here in the UK. Tried that, wasn't a massive fan. Whether the stuff Ozzy gets, because I know the stuff Ozzy gets is predominantly made for him. The stuff we were getting was like very sharp. It was like little chunks of sharp bedding. It wasn't for me. I didn't get on with it, so I was just like, enough's enough. Then JT launched ReptiChip here in the UK, which was absolutely amazing. A quality product that had been tested and tried in the US. Justin uses ReptiChip, obviously. Fantastic. Tried that, very, very happy. Then there was a few issues, and I just stepped away from the product here in the UK. Nothing personal against ReptiChip nor JT. Me and JT's like a big brother to me. I absolutely admire the guy. Whenever I'm in the States, I try and link in with him. Absolutely phenomenal product, and I do back it 110%. Anyway, stepped away from ReptiChip here in the UK, and then I found ReptiBlock. ReptiBlock for me was the answer. I tried some other bits and pieces. Being honest and upfront, there was Herpusk, which I'm not going to get into. There was a few issues with that. Nothing against the person, Simon Ling. It was just the product itself, and I didn't want to get involved, so I stayed away from Herpusk. Then I found ReptiBlock. ReptiBlock for me was the answer. Because ReptiGlobe or Dries over at ReptiBlock, they had a hatchling bedding and they had a adult bedding, which I was really happy with. Now, there was another product called Go for Cocoa from a friend of mine, Jean-Francois. Jean-Francois, I still class as a friend. I still wish him all the best. And again, keeping it real with you, he fell out with me because I was trying ReptiBlock. And that's fine. You know, he had a show recently in November, where Justin went over and Billy from Mutation Creation went over. And again, I wish Jean-Francois Go for Coco all the best. There is certainly no hard feelings from my side of things. Go for Coco is very similar to the Freedom Breeder block. For me, the chunks are too big. This is just being real, okay? The chunks are too big. That's why, for me, Go for Coco wasn't an option. Great product, it was just the chunks were too big. And again, I can say this, hand on my heart, I really do hope Jean-Francois does really well with Go for Coco. I know Billy's a stockist over in Canada for it. So again, I really hope the product is doing fantastic for him. Then I found, as I said, ReptiBlock. And what I liked about ReptiBlock was it was a hatchling bedding and you had a breeder bedding, which was fantastic. Started using it, great, really loved the product, couldn't fault it whatsoever. ReptiBlock also did a Repti spray, which was great. It sort of complemented the bedding, but then there was a supply issue. And getting the product into the UK was evidently the main issue, okay? Getting it and being able to get it consistently was a problem. There was some ups and downs, and then the prices went up. Retail price of a block of ReptiBlock in the UK is just under 30 UK pounds, or £30, whatever. That's really expensive in my eyes. And the prices was just, yeah. So anyway, that aside, and mainly down to the distribution issue that we had here in the UK and getting it sort of on a regular basis. During the time when there was a few issues, I was approached by a few companies, and the one company that approached me was Viper Bedding. We looked at the stuff, refined it slightly, and here we are today. Today we have a UK product that's designed for the UK, for the breeders in the UK. And what I mean by that is, it's not imported into America and then exported into the UK. It's not imported into Europe and then exported into the UK. This is a UK-based company, UK-based product. They're not interested in selling it sort of into Europe and into the US. They're just interested in the UK and obviously Ireland. So I'm just going to show you the two blocks. So there is a hatchling bedding here, which is a finer core, and then there is the breeder block here, which again is designed for adults. Now the good thing with both blocks, you can use either on hatchlings, you can use the breeder block on hatchlings, or you can use the hatchling block on your breeders. It's entirely up to you. What I love about the hatchling block, because this is again something, not all bedding has the option for the two. What I really like about the hatchling block is, especially when the breeder females are about to lay their eggs, I like to make a nest for them. So I like to give them the hatchling block, because they will then, obviously, they, not me, they will then make their nest with it, which is absolutely awesome. And the hatchlings, again, sitting on the hatchling block, I find looks super cute. And I know you're thinking, Gav, super cute? Trust me. When you see a female sitting in that nest of the hatchling block stuff, sitting on those eggs, there's not a feeling like it, okay? Because you know you've given them something comfortable. You know, I know we're breeders, and I know it seems crazy, but you know, I do obviously want them to be comfortable. The other good thing with a hatchling block is it is very easy to spot clean, especially if you've got adult females or adult males and you've got them on that bedding. It is easy to spot their mess and easy to clean. The breeder block as well, can't take anything away from that. For hatchlings to sit on that, it's pretty comfortable for them. You know, the chunks are a decent size. I think they're about 12 to 16 mil in diameter. Again, nothing too crazy in size. And again, to see a hatchling sitting on the breeder block is, you're going to be happy. You know, the chunks aren't massive, so they're not going to look uncomfortable. So for me, like I said, it's fantastically priced. It is a fantastic product, and I'm going to be straight to the point. It is fantastic. We're going to get into, I'm going to show you the product firsthand. I'm going to show you both hatchling and breeder blocks. And at the end of this video, I'm going to do a competition. And it's a competition that is for the UK, but not only for the UK, it's for Europe and it's for the US. One for the UK and Ireland, one for Europe and one for the US, which I'll get into at the end of the show. So everyone stands a chance of winning. That's enough of me talking and explaining about where I am and why I'm at this position. I believe the UK is a fantastic place for breeders, and this is why I want to predominantly sort of focus my attention on helping the UK grow and succeed. Hence why I sort of help import the LP racks, and obviously now we have a company which is purposely built a product, i.e. the Viper bedding, for the UK. For me, this is a step forward in the right direction. So I'm going to shut up. Let's have a look at the bedding in question. I'm going to talk about specifics, about why we do this and why we do that, and how can we make this better. How do we break it down? What's the best avenue? All that sort of jazz. But I'm going to shut up. Let's get into today's video. I hope you enjoy it. If you do enjoy it, please give me a like. Again, leave a comment in the comment box below. And as always, please subscribe and considering supporting the channel. Let's get into today's video. Viper bedding. First out the gate is the hatchling bedding. Now I'm going to get into the specifics and explain to you exactly how we use it and why we use it, all that sort of stuff. The one thing I will stress, this is an 84 litre tub from B&Q, okay, and this is exactly how I do it. This is made by the Really Useful company. It is a fantastic tub that I use to make up my bedding and also store my bedding. So this is one of the 4.5 hatchling blocks, and as you can see, there is some simple step-by-step instructions which is dead easy to use, but there is alternatives. This is a guideline, okay, because we can make this bedding as wet or as dry as we want, and I'm going to show you how. First of all, the Viper bedding comes in a plastic cover, as you can see, and it's got a printed paper insert. Now, what I would always advise you guys to do is there's two ways of making this up. You can basically cut the handle off, take the piece of paper out, and fill this with your water. However, I do recommend using boiling hot water, and there's two reasons for this. Boiling hot water will break this product down dead easy. Also, with boiling hot water, it will also help if there is any sort of nasties in there, which there won't be. If there is, I find boiling hot water is just another added layer of sanitization, let's say. But trust me guys, this is very well put together. I do have the lab reports on this, and I can post them to anyone if they want to see the lab reports. We've got that anyway. I'm pretty confident Viper Bedding, who are on Instagram, go over and give them a follow, please guys. Viper Bedding will be posting it themselves shortly anyway. But anyway, back to it. So there is step-by-step instructions. It's very easy to do. The block says it will make a minimum of 80 litres. Now, I have had 80 litres out, but guys, it is a guideline, okay? This product is compressed coconut fibre, okay? So that's what the hatchling bedding is. Here's a block I made earlier. So what I did with this, I basically boiled the kettle, a full kettle, which is, I don't know, about a litre, is it? Something like that, litre and a half, something like that. Anyway, I boiled a full kettle, and then what I did, I poured it directly in the middle, nice and slow, sort of, and working my way outwards, and you'll see the bedding expand. And what I did, I turned it over, because obviously, like I said, I took it out of the plastic covering, turned it over, and did the same on the bottom. Now, what I then did was I then boiled a third kettle, and I went over the sides. So I turned it over, and I went over the sides. Now, as you can see, the product has already started to break down, okay? And what I love about this now, because all I did was put the lid back on, okay, and left it. Now, what will happen is the condensation will start to build up around the sides. As you can see from the bedding, it will start to build up inside your tub, and the bedding will pull the moisture inside. So what that'll help it do That'll help it break down a lot easier. Now, the good thing about these blocks is it is heavily compressed, so that means there's a lot of product in there, so it is harder to break down. The harder it is to break down, the more product. If you're grabbing a bedding and you're just breaking it apart dry, then there's not much bedding in there. That's reality, that's facts. Okay, so the harder it is to break down, the more bedding is actually included in the compressed block. So this has been sat now for a few days. As you can see, it's starting to dry up. If I move it from the bottom, it is still damp at the bottom, but there is no mold whatsoever. Hopefully you guys can see that. So the block itself now is pretty dry, so let's try and break it down. And it's dry, so what's happened is the bedding has absorbed the moisture and it's expanded. And the reason why I can break it down so easy as it's dry is because the bedding has basically decompressed. So it's, as you can see, hopefully I'll try and lift it out. As you can see how thick it is. Okay, you can see it's still a bit moist compared to how compressed it is there. Okay, so hopefully I'll try and get this in as a comparison. No. So as you can see that, hopefully you can, this is virtually 1.5 times this. So this is heavily compressed and this is decompressed. So anyway, as you can see, because it's absorbed the moisture, you know, it's still compressed, we can now break it down. Very easy, one-handed. Pull it apart. So now this bedding, I can use it and I can let it, the longer I let it sit, obviously, the drier it will be. Okay, so if you want your bedding to be dry, I like mine to be a 50-50 mix. Okay, that's reality. So when I'm doing a spot clean or we're doing a full exchange, I like it to be a 50-50 mix because I like the to raise the humidity in the tub. And again, look, I can just break this down, and this is the hatchling bedding that I'm breaking down here. As you can see, again, a lot of people sort of go, oh, you know, the bedding's hard to break down. Yeah, that's because there's so much product. And that's reality. I mean, look, I'm just breaking it down nice and easy. I've let it sit for a few days. And again, it's entirely up to you how you want to do it. You know, look, there's loads of it. The hatchling bedding, for me, is like the gift that keeps giving. They're just, you know, you just start to break it down. Roll it around and look at all this bedding that's coming off. Okay, now the good thing about the cocoa fibre, the hatchling bedding, is again, a lot of people say that, you know, what if the animal as it's feeding digests, if it's as it's feeding starts to ingest and take in some of the bedding, it's not going to hurt it. It's a natural product. In the wild, they would probably absorb something a lot worse than this, you know, dirt, soil, stones, bricks. You know, they are designed, guys, to be eating. Well, they're not obviously going to eat this directly in the wild, but you get what I'm saying. You know, this is a very clean, very healthy product. You know, if they do take some of this on board, it's not going to hurt them. Reality, it's not going to hurt them, guys. All I'm doing, I'm just breaking this down and I'm doing this video so you guys can see. The other good thing with this product as well, what you can do is if you didn't want to leave it in the tub and put the lid on it, you can actually use this to help raise the humidity within your snake room or in your reptile room. Because again, this bedding, I use it for my other lizards, my other species that I keep, worms. I use it on beardies, bearded dragons, day geckos. I've got a bioactive setup, and this works really well for the bioactive stuff. So again, if you've got other species and you want to try it with your bioactive stuff, it's perfect. Okay, as you can see, I'm just breaking that up. And again, the drier you use it, the more dusty, should I say, is it's going to be, because it's not wet, it's not, you know, it's not moist, it's not sort of, it's keeping the dust. So, you know, I always advise you want it to be about 50-50 mix when you're putting it into your enclosures. And again, look, it's just been sat there for a few days, and I can just break this down because the bedding has absorbed the moisture that was kept in the tub. okay? Giving you guys first hand. And again, listen, I'm not going to use something or recommend something that I wouldn't use myself. Everything over the years I've sort of done a video on, I've used. You know, there's a lot of breeders out there who recommend certain bedding, but they don't actually use it themselves. Why recommend it if you're not going to use it? You know. So I've just spent a few minutes just breaking that down one-handed. It's great exercise actually. It's good for the forearm, especially with this arm, my bad arm. So again, you can just see I'm just breaking that down. And I really do love, it's such a soft bedding. And I know a lot of people who've come to the HQ and asked and said, Gavin, can we see the Viper bedding hatchling stuff? And I went, yeah, of course you can. At the minute I'm currently using this with my adults as well as my hatchlings. Just look. Yeah, I love it. And that's what I love about this stuff. You know, we've got a variety. You know, we can use the hatchling or we can use the breeder block. It's entirely your own preference. And again, just breaks down nice and easy. Rub it against the block. And what we can do, we can just use that as and when. And again, all I'll do is I'll just break it down as and when I need it. And then I'll take that and I'll use it when I'm doing a clean or if we're doing a spot clean. And remember, this is 84 litres, okay? And I haven't even destroyed the full block yet. See, we've still got loads, and all that is still, you know, quite compressed. So, anyway, that's enough of me breaking it down, but you can see the quality. Okay, I'm not about to put my animals on this if this was some sort of cheap, heavily bacteriated bedding, because there are beddings out there, guys, that do carry a lot of harmful bacteria. So you need to be careful of that because they're not actually designed for our animals, or they're not cleaned or processed the correct way. And again, that's not knocking anyone else, that's just being realistic. At the end of the day, it's reality. That's exactly what it is. Okay, so that's the hatchling bedding. Super awesome, super absorbent. Really love the fact that, you know, we've got two products. We've got something, you know, you may not like the hatchling, you may prefer the breeder block. It's entirely up to you. Viper bedding has both blocks, so which is super cool. So that's the hatchling bedding. Let's have a look at the breeder block. So this is the breeder block, exactly the same, 4.5 kilos of bedding. It's compressed. The steps are exactly the same as the hatchling, but I've done this one slightly different just to do a bit of experiment, if you like. We can use the bag, we can cut the handle off, we can take the handle off, we can take the piece of paper out, we can fill that with water if we want, and that will obviously help hold the moisture in there. We can let that sit for a day and then break it down according. But what I've done with this one, as you can see, this is slightly bigger. I think this is a 90 litre capacity tub. What I've done, exactly the same process, 3 kettles of boiling water, poured it one on the face, turned it over, one on the back, and then one round the sides. And what I've done, I've just left this in the room, just let it break down naturally. And as you can see, it started to break down on its own accord, because it's taken on the moisture from the room, which is helping as well to break it down, and also the actual the water that I put on as well. Again, one-handed, I can break that down because it's been sitting there for a few days, and yeah, it's just breaking down dead easy. I'm not using this one at the moment because I'm enjoying the hatchling bedding, so I'm using the hatchling bedding. But again, what I like, I've got an option for the two. Let's have a look at this in a bit more detail. What size are the chunks? So like I said, they're about a 12 to 16 mil size chunks. This is pretty dry, guys. So, okay. It's very consistent. It's comfortable when you see the hatchlings on it, and it's comfortable when you see your adults on it. Again, the chunks are consistent, like I said, about a 12 mil diameter to 16 mil. Again, just really consistent. I really like the product. I think it's fantastic. A lot of this is down to how you make it. If you make it too wet, it's going to be really sodden, and when you put it in, you ain't going to do yourself no favours. But what I can tell you is if you use this correctly and you let it dry and you get it to the consistency that you want, it is really going to do you guys. You're really going to enjoy it. I think it's a fantastic product. I wouldn't have Viper bedding as a supporter if I didn't think it was good stuff. You guys know you can get it either direct from me or you can get it from Boss Rat UK. Again, if you're not following Boss Rat, get over onto their Instagram, give them a follow, because they're exactly the same ethos and mindset as me. You know, quality products, no drama. That's what we're about. So if you want to try this, guys, and you're in the UK, I would highly recommend trying it for yourself. The other good thing I love about this product, which is going to sound silly and stupid, but it's straight up facts. Once I've cleaned my snakes, and let's say I've spot cleaned, I've got rid of the bigger chunks like the poo and the shed, and they've gone in the bin. What you're left with then is old bedding. What I do with that then is I go and put it on my garden, and it really does amazing. You can actually use coconut bedding in your potted plants as well. It's great for holding moisture, and it's also good for, I believe I'm not a planter, so please, I'm not a gardener, so please don't hold me to this. But apparently it doesn't, you don't get any sort of, soggy, wet bedding. It's really good at drainage. That was the word, drainage. Drainage as well as hydration. So what I do is any bedding that's, old bedding that we've cleaned out the tubs, and we don't throw it away. It gets recycled on the plants outside, or it goes into the pots or the bedding pots that I have in the garden. That's the breeder bedding. Really, really enjoy that. So without further ado, let's get into the competition. The part you guys love. Competition, winning free stuff. So we're going to do 3 winners. Do one in the US/Canada, one in Europe, and one in the UK. For those who are living abroad, i.e. Europe or the US and Canada, we're going to ship out t-shirt, a Viper t-shirt, along with some sticker packs and some goodies. So we're going to send them out into Europe and into the US/Canada. For those in the UK, you will get a free block to try it yourself. That will either be the Viper bedding or the hatchling bedding, depending on what you want. You'll also receive a sticker pack as well. So what is it you got to do? It's very simple, guys. What I want you to do is to tag me and Viper bedding and Boss Rat in a story on Instagram with the link to this video. Simple. Dead easy, dead straightforward. Again, give this a thumbs up. Make sure you're following myself, Boss Rat, and Viper bedding. If you are interested in trying this, you can obviously get in touch with me direct, or you can get in touch with Boss Rat direct. It's entirely up to you. But guys, don't take my word for it. Please try it yourself. Feedback is welcomed. We're not here to sort of lead people down the garden path. We want you guys to decide for yourself. So guys, get tagging, get linking, like this video, share this video, and let me know what you guys think. But for now, I hope you're all well. I hope you're enjoying the holidays. And again, take care, and I'll see you guys definitely on the next one. I hit record.
footage up, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming that